something different about her. Like, she's got this special aura. She's so cute when she laughs.
I've been thinking about Shark Tale a lot recently for whatever reason. Okay, I know why. When things have a lot of potential, I can't help but want to add to them and rewrite them. It's what I do. I watched it and I was right. It does have a lot of potential. Not just in being a good movie, but specifically in being a black movie or a movie that dives into black culture. I think that's what the movie is trying to be, at least to a certain extent. Specifically, I'm thinking of movies like Beauty Shop, I guess, Friday, Boys in the Hood, all the Madea movies. We start off with our protagonist, Oscar, who's pretending he's a celebrity with gold chains around his neck, clearly copying a specific style in hip-hop fashion. Then a few more characters show up, and I swear I've seen these kind of characters before in black movies. They're like the neighborhood kids who are kind of bad, but for the most part are good kids. They just get into a lot of trouble. I'm pretty sure Oscar's neighborhood is supposed to represent the hood, or at the very least a neighborhood that's run down but has a lot of good people that look out for each other, which I feel is pretty common in black storylines. There are references to black songs in the movie, although they're very small and short and have no real weight or influence on the atmosphere. Sometimes they do, like the scene where Oscar is walking into work. And there's a lot of black slang, mostly from Oscar, but also from the kids who live in his area. Oscar even tries to dab up another fish, and when the fish can't, he says, "It's okay, a lot of white fish can't do it," which makes no sense in the context of this movie, but we'll get to that. It's debatable for some of the fish around him, but Oscar is obviously coded as black. And though it doesn't do it in a fun or appealing way, the movie has taken inspiration from black stories and culture. But I feel like no one remembers it as a black movie. These inspirations are completely ignored and it's just remembered as a bad kids movie. And honestly, it should be. Shark Tale has horrific world building. Every concept feels like no one thought about it for more than 10 minutes. It feels like it was written in a month. It looks like it was animated in a month. It's just a bad movie. Extremely bad for DreamWorks in terms of storytelling. Okay, this is me editing this from the future. A reporter called Katie Current is iconic. They did a good job. Whoever came up with that on the writing staff, that's great. It's good. I like it. That's clever. But they did make it corny when they made her say keeping it current. That's a little too much. A little too on the nose. But a movie with a broken character design problem, terrible world building, and attempts to involve black hip hop culture that fail miserably, I can't resist. I just gotta get my hands in there. I gotta fix it. Or try, I don't know. Like I said, I went back and watched the movie, and the plot and the world building are really janky. There's a lot of telling, not a lot of showing, but most of the movie's problems come from the Shark Slayer plotline. If you've seen the movie or seen Shay Phyllis's review, then you know Oscar rose to fame because he's given the credit of slaying a shark, but it's just a big lie. The shark died from an anchor being dropped on its head. So after two people see him standing next to a dead shark, Oscar gets his Shark Slayer title. He rises to fame, gets brand deals, etc., etc. But I have several grievances with the Shark Slayer thing. Like, what is the plan, like, long term? Oscar never thinks about this in the movie and is completely shocked when people expect him to keep killing sharks. But, like, why? Like, why hasn't he thought about this at least once? Also, why is he being treated like a pop star? Protecting the city seems more like law enforcement status instead of celebrity status. Also, the other characters' like gullibility and what they're willing to believe goes so far. Oscar starts off working at a whale wash where he owes his manager a lot of money. Somehow, his boss at the car wash... Oh, nope. How somehow his boss at the whale wash is connected to the mafia. At some point in the movie, he becomes Oscar's agent, and as his agent, he tells off the head of the mafia and starts threatening them with Oscar. He works with the mafia, but he's still under them, so I guess he's doing this out of cockiness. But he's never seen Oscar slay a shark, not even one time. And even if he had, the mafia is the mafia, Oscar would still be extremely outnumbered. Does he expect him to fight them all at once when he's never seen him kill a shark a single time? His own henchmen pick on Oscar all the time. If he's strong enough to take on a shark, why doesn't he defend himself from his henchmen? My last point is, even though the movie is completely in love with the Shark Slayer idea with how much they talk about it and bring it up, it does not work in the world that they've set up. Let's look at movies like Rango and Hercules so you can kind of see my point. Starting off with Rango, go watch this movie if you have never seen it. It does this fake hero trope a lot better. But in the movie, we have this theater major lizard pretending to be a legendary sheriff, and under this persona, he takes on the name Rango. The movie has an old western setting, and savior or hero type characters are very common in old western movies. Like, that's directly what they are referencing. So Rango's title here makes a lot of sense. The movie Hercules is set in ancient Greece, and Greek mythology definitely has a lot of heroes and warriors. So again, Hercules being praised as this brave, invincible power makes sense in his setting. Both movies have old-fashioned worlds where the damsel saving hero fits and is almost expected. In contrast, Shark Tale's world is very modern. It's an LA, New York inspired city. They have billboards, penthouses, and something similar to a car wash. So Oscar being a shark slayer in this world is like having a knight being praised in the 21st century. It just does not work here. So we're cutting the shark slayer aspect out. It only hurts the movie. It's not fun or interesting enough to keep in. I'm just gonna scrap it. I do like the setting itself though. A coral reef city is really cool, especially like a New York, LA, Hollywood inspired one. But now that we've got that problem solved, we can move on to the character design problem. Like the original plot, the design decisions are pretty terrible. Not saying that you can't put black features on a cartoon fish and have it look good. You could probably pull it off, just not like this. On top of every single character looking gross in the face, the designs don't communicate what they're supposed to. There's a scene where Oscar is on a bunch of magazine covers and they can't do much with his poses, so it just doesn't hit like it's supposed to. There's a scene where the iconic sexy redfish is massaging his shoulders and it looks weird because he doesn't have shoulders. Lastly, it's just hard to read what the characters are trying to express sometimes. So, what is my solution to fix this? I'm gonna ask that everyone stay seated, please. Mermaids. This is why Shark Tale has been stuck in my head, because I was just thinking, why didn't they just do mermaids? Like, not only can you give the characters varied poses and readable expressions, it fixes the movie's race problem. You can incorporate black features, and the "a lot of white fish can't do it" joke actually makes sense now because your characters have human skin tones. I was obsessed with mermaids when I was little. At some point, I remember I wanted to grow up and become someone who could prove mermaids exist, or like dedicate my life to research to prove that they were like real. Anyway, but despite that like much love and dedication to mermaids, I can't recall any animated movies with the focus on black mermaids as the main characters. A movie with beautiful black mergirls would have been a hit. It would have stood out. I don't know. I just feel like the solution was right there and they should have gone for it. We're not just gonna do mermaids though. We're gonna do coral reef mermaids. So tiny. That's where Oscar is. He's a tiny little reef mermaid. Moving on to his character in the movie, he's kind of a mixed bag. The movie shows him being kind and friendly to the kids, and I was originally going to say homeless guy, but this is a hermit crab. His home is on his back, so I don't know if it's like a metaphor for homelessness or if it's just like verbatim homeless. I don't know. Anyway, the interaction that he had with the people in his neighborhood felt natural and made him feel humble, but his kindness is completely overshadowed by his arrogance and selfishness. There are two parts in this movie that really weigh down his character. Firstly, Oscar is in debt to his boss and ends up owing him $5,000. His friend Angie, who works the car wash, whale wash, goddammit. His friend Angie, who also works the whale wash with him as a secretary, lends him a valuable family heirloom to help pay back the debt. And the next day, he's bet all of the money on a horse race. His cutaway fantasy of like what could happen if he won the bet is him just standing there with gold chains. He's not fantasizing about buying something for Angie with the extra money as a thank you. It's just him with gold chains. And he already had gold chains on in the beginning. So he's just making a rash and selfish decision just to buy himself things he doesn't need. Secondly, Oscar's motivation is just wanting to be famous. He doesn't want to be a nobody. He wants to be a somebody. This is really riveting writing. To most people, the whole "I want to be famous but I have no talent, nothing to offer" is really annoying. I don't even mean influencers, because they're good looking, they can sell a product, That's enough. But Oscar has nothing he wants to be famous for. He doesn't sing, act, he's not even funny. I got more laughs out of the Shark Mafia.
Am I right?
It's all been to prepare them.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
This man has no ambition, no drive, he just wants to be famous. Like I said, that's really annoying and really superficial. It's 1,000 times more endearing to have a character want to be recognized and want to be at the top, but they actually have talent and something they were born to do. In this version, Oscar is an aspiring hip-hop artist trying to get his music some kind of traction. I know that song I Spy is pretty old, but that's probably the kind of music he'd make, like really upbeat, lighthearted, catchy, I guess rap pop songs. There is something from the movie I want to keep for his character. He talks about how his dad worked at the same whale wash his entire career and never got any ownership in the company or worked his way up. I think that's really good for his character because he grew up seeing that you can be really dedicated and hardworking and still stay at the bottom. So all that effort ultimately amounts to nothing. Oscar fears that no matter how much effort he puts into his music, it just won't be heard and no one will care. For his personality, he's charming in a boyish way and naive. He has trouble focusing or taking things seriously. Everything is a joke to him, but he is very fun and humble. I gave him this hairstyle specifically to make him seem a little more like younger. I imagine he and Angie are like both in their 20s, while like in the movies they kind of seem like they're in their 30s. He has the same job now, except now it's the turtle wash instead of the whale wash. Whales don't usually hang around coral reefs. They're going to be in much deeper and cooler waters. Also, cleaner fish, which are the fish that help clean other marine life, don't clean whales, but they do clean sea turtles, which do hang around coral reefs. Also, whales are just scary to me. I know they're harmless. I don't care. They're still scary. Turtles and mermaids just fit each other better too than whales and mermaids, especially ones this little. Something I do really enjoy in the movie's character design is the fish scales. Oscar's scale colors are very sleek and cool. The shine on Angie's scales is stunning, and I love the color. And even though Lola isn't attractive, she can't be with this animation style. Her scales convince you that she is.
Hello? Oscar? Listen, baby, I know I was a bad girl, but come on. You'd have to be crazy not to take me back.
The flames of desire, flames that ignite in an uncontrollable frenzy of lust, passion, and ecstasy.
So each fish, including Oscar, is gonna keep their original color palette. As for Angie, I found her character to be really endearing. Even though she's just, I guess, a whale wash secretary, she cares about her job. She puts in the effort with the customers, and she's just very dorky and very considerate. She and Oscar have some pretty decent chemistry in the beginning.
Hey, Ange.
Oh my gosh! Hi, Oscar!
Hey, thanks for covering for me. Yo, I'm sorry, Dunn. Angie needs to get her freak on. Would you hold for one moment, please? Thanks, dog.
Oscar!
Come on, Ange. Dance with me, mama.
Hey!
Let me see it. Tomorrow, I'm being rich. Come on, Ange.
Oscar, you're gonna get me fired.
Please, you fired? Nah, that can't happen, because then I would have absolutely no reason to come to work.
Oh, you don't mean that.
Well, of course I do. You're like my best friend. Oh, listen, tell me what you think about this. This is like the best idea ever, all right? It's a sure thing, guaranteed cash extravaganza. Bottled water.
Oh, no.
Now, all I need is another advance on my paycheck from the boss, and Ange, I am out of this place. I mean, I'm phew.
Oscar, instead of getting in Mr. Sykes' face with another one of your get-rich-quick schemes, go do something you're actually good at. Your job, which was some miracle you still have.
Oh, almost forgot. I brought you some breakfast.
You didn't?
Mm-hmm.
Kelpie creams?
Your favorite. Oh, by the way, you're still on hold.
Oh my gosh! Thank you for holding. Busy, busy, busy. Oh, how can I help you?
And her pining for Oscar is sweet too. I just hate how she never voices her feelings to him, but gets angry when he kisses Lola. And even though her crush is really cute, it'd be cuter if it was mutual pining on both sides, and they were just both too nervous to say how they feel. I do really like their dynamic as a whole though. The way he remembers her favorite donut brand, how he genuinely loves her humble housewarming gift despite being at the top, the fact that he did remember her family heirloom and was excited to give it back to her and paid her back in interest. Yes, she does clock in for him sometimes when he's late, but I never get the sense that he is just using her to make up for his own incompetence. Of course, it could be better, but the dynamic, the chemistry, it's there. Okay, everybody lean in real close when I make this point. I love black love. I love black love. I love black love. I'm hypnotizing you. Interracial couples are cute, but seeing a black couple with mutual respect and love for each other, it just hits differently, especially because the black boys at my school would degrade black girls constantly, and I just think seeing black men put down black women specifically is so disheartening. So when they treat their girlfriends like goddesses, I love it. I mean, it's good food. So Angie is also black. To kind of address the Lola problem, I think my version of Angie would be disappointed and hurt if Oscar dated someone else, but she wouldn't get angry at him like her movie counterpart. She'd be happy for him and distance herself until eventually her feelings fizzled out. Other than that, I'm not touching her personality. I think the way she is adorable. Other than her shyness, the main thing keeping Angie from confessing to Oscar in this version is his intense focus on his music. It just never feels like the right time, and her feelings feel small compared to what he's trying to accomplish. Oscar is also waiting for the right time to tell Angie how he feels about her. He's mostly waiting on his success because he wants to spoil her and be able to provide a lavish life for her. But he doesn't know that his personality and hard work are enough for Angie. I've decided that my version of Angie is in law school, so character and hard work are especially important and attractive to her. At the end of the movie, Oscar ends up just working at the Whale Watch, but as a co-owner of the business. I guess it makes sense that Oscar's dreams of being at the top went nowhere since he had no real reason to be famous, but now that he does, the story would be less about completely sacrificing fame and more so about learning how to balance it with your personal life. Oscar would lose sight of who his friends really are as he's pulled into the Hollywood lifestyle. His lesson would be letting go of his naiveness and being smart about who he lets close to him. He has to balance his fame without neglecting the people who matter to him. But to do that, he has to make sacrifices, and there are sacrifices to be made on both sides. He has to weigh which are more important to him. If me ripping up this childhood movie didn't bother you too much, then stay tuned because I'm gonna redesign Lola, the sexy redfish, and Lenny, the not at all subtle gay metaphor, in the next video. Maybe I can cram someone else in from the movie in too. Just let me know who else you'd probably want to see. And subscribe if you want. And if you've seen at least 2 of my videos, then you do want. So just do it. Anyway, that's it. I'm done talking. I'll see you later. Hey, this is me from the future one more time before I actually go. Some of you already know that I'm working on an LPS popular inspired web series, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go watch this video. But I have an upcoming update video on where I'm at in the process, and a section in that video will be a Q&A. Some of you have already left your questions, and I'm so excited to answer them, but if you're just now finding out about this, this is your chance to get any questions you have answered. Except for any major plot-related questions, I will not be answering anything that will spoil the new story. Anything else is fair game though. Alright, I'm officially done talking. I will see you in the next video.